San Antonio at LOL Comedy Central, and I'm here with Cristela Alonzo. So excited! Welcome back to Texas, Cristela. So I just have a few questions for you. So we know that you're from Texas.
Yes.
And we want to know, what memories of Texas do you have that you're going to get to revisit while you're here?
You know, I always tell people, I always try to describe the Mexican culture in Texas compared to it in other parts of the country. Because I think people always think that we're all alike, and it couldn't be further from the truth. So like when I come to San Antonio is the beginning. San Antonio is like the beginning of that part of Texas that I'm familiar with, where the Mexican families that I meet are always very nice, they're very welcoming. You go to the right Mexican restaurants that are owned by families, and they treat you like they're part of the family. The food is different. I can't explain it to people. So when I come to San Antonio, I like to go out and eat a lot of the stuff that I can't have in Los Angeles, or anywhere else. Because I feel like a lot of people don't realize that Mexican food doesn't have a lot of the shredded cheese on top of it, sour cream. Like that's something that people do so that other people can come to the restaurants, But like I went to Taco Palenque today, right? And I got so excited because I saw carne guisada, and I'm like, oh my god, I only get carne guisada in Texas. Yes. Carne guisada is so hard to find anywhere else outside of Texas. So
what would describe what a Louis Vuitton, what would make you call a taco a Louis Vuitton taco?
A Louis Vuitton taco would be like something, how can I explain it? It's like, it starts with a good intention, but then they add those ingredients that you're like, and who told you we eat that? What was it? The other day I had a taco. It was picadillo con papa. Right? And I was like, okay. I don't eat picadillo con papa. It's not available again. It's one of those dishes they don't have in a lot of Mexican restaurants outside of Texas. So I ordered the taco, and I'm eating it, and it has cabbage and like coleslaw, and I'm like, this was not made by a Mexican. Like, this was not created by a Mexican. There is no way. I'm like, that's what a Louis Vuitton taco is. When it starts off with a good intention, all you need is picadillo con papa and a tortilla. That's all you need. That's all. If you want to get fancy, you put some salsa there, but like the good kind of salsa that takes like a day to make. You know what I mean? But like other than that, the Louis Vuitton taco would be like picadillo con papa, cabbage, shredded cheese, sour cream, guacamole, black beans, rice. Now it becomes a burrito. I'm just like, and even then the burritos, I'm like, I grew up with burritos that were like just the tortilla and the meat. You know what I mean? Now the burritos, the tortilla is like a plate. It's like, let's just put everything in the plate and wrap it up and then you eat it. It's like it makes no sense. And so every time I come to San Antonio, I come for home. I come to hang out at my home. That's what I come and like that's. It's hard to explain it, but everything about this city reminds me of home.
So you must feel these shows must be special to you.
Absolutely. I was excited to come to San Antonio. I mean, there's cities that you already know that people are so supportive of you, but San Antonio I knew that there'd be a lot of people from like my hometown area that live here, and it's just, it seems like, for me, doing these shows in San Antonio is like I'm doing a show for people I grew up with. And for me, like, that was the point of my show. I want to do a show for people that I grew up with. So when I do these shows in San Antonio in the room, I feel like that's what I was doing.
And that's what it felt like.
It does. It does.
It feels like we're just hanging out with you. But there are some things that you touch on in your show, and I appreciate personally that you touch on things like immigration.
Yes.
And how do you know what to include, and do you have any lines that you won't cross when it comes to
especially with immigration, it's so important to me because I always tell people, like, immigration is something that we have to talk about. and you can't shy away from it, or else we'll never get to a solution. You know, and I think that what people do right now is they generalize what they think their version of immigrants are. You know, and in order for me to help and put a voice out there, I need to explain to people who these people are that are coming to this country. Uncomfortable or not, whatever you feel like, that's not my problem.
Right.
You know, my problem is to tell you what my people go through. Right. You know, because I can tell you that, like, the Trump remarks were so offensive to me because it wasn't about immigration, it was about Mexicans. He could have talked about so many other nationalities that come to the United States, but he chose Mexicans. And that's the problem, is that a lot of people, when they talk about immigration, they talk about Mexicans. Yeah. They talk about Latinos. They don't talk about other nationalities, you know? There's certain countries, they get asylum when they come here. But why is it that people don't talk about the revolutions in Mexico, the violence in Mexico, the fact that women sometimes in certain parts of Mexico are treated like property? You know what I mean? It's like, that's why people come here. They're trying to escape that. So in order to get a really healthy conversation about it, we need more people that are willing to talk about that and are willing to say, you know what? I'm going to make this room uncomfortable if you don't go with me, because if I don't do it, then who's going to do it? Donald Trump.
That's why I appreciate you saying something and using your comedy to have a conversation about it and getting other people to have a conversation about it. Who is your favorite superhero?
Batman. I like Batman because traditionally he doesn't use guns, he doesn't use, you know, he kind of, and his story is so cool. The backstory, he's a rich kid and his parents die, and the rest of his life is spent to him being a vigilante, which I think is actually a very Latino thing. You know what I mean? It's like that thing where it's like, oh, you heard me? For the next 20 years, I'm going to train as a ninja, and I'm going to come back for you. You just wait. Give me 50 years, I'm going to learn karate, I'm going to come back.
So does that answer Marvel or DC?
No. No, I think both of them are so good. I feel like they each have... I feel like DC is a lot more old school, a lot more like... I think they're more... I'm going to say vintage, if that makes any sense. Marvel, to me, is doing so great, and I'm glad that, like, Marvel Studios took over movies years ago and finally started making comic book movies that were good, that comic book fans could appreciate better than what they were doing. You know, it's kind of like the Fantastic Four. Like, they came out with it again, and you see... This time around, I'm glad that the Thing looks like the Thing.
Right.
Because the old Thing looked like sponges glued together, and I'm just like, no, that does not look right.
Thank you, Cristela.
Of course, no problem.